Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Nuisance back at it again with another video. And today, guys, we're going to be reacting to Andrew Tate. The video is called Andrew Tate Defends Himself Against Piers Morgan. As you all know, Andrew Tate recently got canceled off all streaming platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. He's basically been blackballed, as some would like to say, or canceled, as others would like to say. Honestly, I have my feelings about it. I feel like anybody who speaks the truth about societal norms and tries to change society is always going to be outcast. You could look at a lot of people. There's a lot of examples of that, but we're not going to even get into that. We're just going to get straight into the video, and we're going to see what they're talking about. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Andrew Tate's the most famous man you've probably never heard of. The chances are your children will have. Videos of Tate have been viewed billions of times online. He's built an enormous following of mostly young men, and his often scandalous views about women that have made him notorious across the world. Views like this.
So I think my sister is her husband's property, yes. When a bride is walking down the aisle to marry the groom, the father walks next to her and gives her away. True or false?
Tate's opinions on mental illness are equally controversial.
I don't believe in depression. Don't message me about depression because I don't believe in it. If you're asleep in your bed in the middle of the night and you hear a noise and you believe in ghosts, now you're afraid. But if you don't believe in ghosts, it's the wind and you go back to sleep. You give the ghosts power by believing in them.
What was wrong with that? What was wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? It's a simple thing, but he's talking about mindset. He's not talking about people that have phobias of ghosts and stuff like that. No, he's not saying that. He's saying if you put yourself in the mindset that you're afraid of something, then you're gonna be afraid of it because you're telling your body this is how you're gonna react. You're telling your mind this is how we're gonna react. If you put yourself in a winner's mind, it's the same thing Kobe says. You know what I'm saying? If you put yourself in a winner's mindset, then I'm gonna get it by any means that you know what I'm saying, that you become that person. So why is it that we accept like knowing that part of it, okay, we could change our mindset, but when it comes to other parts of it, it's like, oh no, you can't do that when we go against societal norms. But let's continue.
Some every major social media platform banned Tate amid a global backlash and concerns about his influence on the young people who watch him. But copies of his videos are still shared millions of times every day. This show is called Uncensored. One of the challenges views directly. So he flew from Romania to sit here in this studio, and the full explosive interview airs later this week. Here's a bit of what's to come. Do you respect women?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah. Do you think that 18, 19-year-old women are more attractive than 25-year-old women?
I think there's attractive people. That's a loaded question. I don't know.
Well, it's not really, is it?
I can't.
You know why I'm asking it?
Of course I do, but I can't sit here and
say. For the
say.
benefit of viewers who don't know why I'm asking, you said this. In general, this is also one of the reasons men find youth attractive. You want to blow up the internet? I'll blow up the internet right effing now. The reason 18 and 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25-year-olds is because they've been through less dick. People say, oh, you can't say that. Yes, I can.
You did say that shit.
A 19-year-old is more attractive than a 26-year-old woman, and I'll tell you why. Because that 26-year-old has talked to more.
Listen. If you're new to this, if you're new to seeing Andrew Tate, and this is probably your first time seeing him, the one thing about Tate is that he'll give you the raw, honest truth about shit, right? The reason people don't like him is because he's unfiltered about it. But Kevin Samuels, he did put a little bit of a filter of it. Yes, he did have his jokes in there, but he put it in a way that people could get it, that it builds relationships and this and that. He's more so telling you the honest truth about things. He's telling you blatantly, okay, this is how this is, and this is what society is doing. You know what I'm saying? He's pointing at the problem and he's giving a solution. Whether it's if you like it or not, it's raw and honest. And people can't accept raw and honest truth, you know, because they've been raised by whoever they've been raised, or they've never been exposed to people who are just raw and rugged with the truth. When you actually break down what he says, a lot of the times it is very truthful. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things he talks about is mindset. When he even talks about guys, because a lot of people think that he just misconstrues women and stuff like that. When he talks about guys, he talks about get off your lazy ass and make something of yourself, right? And you're not just gonna wake up and things are gonna just fall in your lap, right? So why is it okay for him to come at guys that hard, But if he comes at women and says anything the directed towards women, now it's a problem. And yeah, I do stand by Tate because honestly, I felt like he's been blackballed. He's been blackballed because he's speaking the truth. And people don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear. Okay, the delivery he's saying things though, yes, it could misconstrue a lot of things. And he does say things for a lot of shock value. And that's how he became very famous. But at the end of the day, when he breaks it down and he really goes deep into these topics, a lot of the times he's not wrong about certain things. It's just the way that he says it and perceives it, it just shocks a lot of people. Once you get over that initial shock in that whole offensive mode, you start to realize that, yo, he's actually speaking the truth. But let's listen.
More guys, been to the club more times, been effed and dumped more times, more arguments, more mess, more for me to clean up. That is misogyny.
Why?
Because you are encouraging a mindset about 25-year-old women that makes them sound out to be infinitely less desirable than 18, 19-year-olds, and having effectively been having too much sex to be taken in a more respectful way.
That would, well, firstly, even if that was the case, that wouldn't be misogyny.
But what did you mean by what you said?
That's not misogyny because it's not anti-women. I'm saying that an 18 or a 19-year-old woman would be more desirable.
Pretty anti-25-year-old woman.
Anti-25-year-old women we can argue, but not misogyny.
Well, that's misogyny.
No, it's not.
Being anti any woman at all.
The dude is not even trying to hear him out. Like, what the fuck? Like, he's cutting him off every single point that he has, bro. Like, are you gonna let him talk, or are you just gonna? Well, it's not misogyny. Well, it's not. Well, 24 of you. Excuse me, bro. Like, chill, bro. Are you programmed? Let's go.
Is misogyny.
Not when I'm saying that women are beautiful and attractive at a certain age and saying the age.
You're saying 18, 19-year-olds are
Bro.
more attractive than 25.
Well, then ageist perhaps, but misogynistic absolutely.
Is that
not.
what? But you just accepted it was misogyny.
No, I didn't. You said it was misogyny. I'm telling you, no,
Bro,
it's
what the
not.
fuck
If a
is wrong?
26-year-old woman is watching this and has heard those comments,
Yeah.
would you just say to her, look, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
No, I won't. I will say that I am sorry that offends you. However, there's a large contingent of the world.
That doesn't mean you're sorry.
No, I'm not sorry. That's the point I'm making. I'm sorry that
Bro.
offends you. However, there's a large contingent of the world that believe that, and I was mediating for a conversation.
Parts of the world that believe that about 26-year-old women are parts of the world where women are not allowed out on their own.
That's a
They
conversation.
have to wear full burqas.
Well, that's a
They're
conversation.
not allowed to drive.
Bro. The problem is that bro literally is trying to get the point out. He's literally trying to get to the point, and this dude keeps cutting him off. Like, we're already halfway into the video. Obviously, this is the preview to the interview, but yo, he's not even able to get his point out. This guy's like, well, at least 25. You're offending 25-year-olds, and the guy's like, well, not really. This, and he's trying to get into the point. Well, how do you feel about this and that? I'm like, damn, like he hasn't even got through it. By the time he probably finishes this shit, he probably just get one point out of all the things that you just attacked him for. He's not even able to really defend himself, and that's fucked up, man. You're trying to frame it in a light to where you're giving him like maybe six minutes of glory or something like that in this interview, and then you're just like trying to talk over him the whole time. Come on, man. Let's continue.
Drive cars.
That's nothing to do with it.
But is that the kind of world for women that you?
I was mediating
applaud?
a conversation.
No, I'm asking you what you think.
I don't live in a country where that happens.
So you're using that as the excuse for why you're not sorry for saying it.
It's not an excuse.
Is that there are parts of the world where this is fine?
My
So
friend,
my question to you is, well, do you think it's fine?
I don't think it's fine. I live in a world where
You don't think it's fine?
the reason
This
I
isn't that hard, Andrew. You can simply say, Piers, you know what? With the benefit of hindsight, I wish I hadn't said it like that. And if a 26-year-old woman's watching, I'm sorry I said that, because that actually is blatantly misogynist. And even though that's a view held by other parts of the world, it's not a view I share. Now, I would respect you more if you said that.
Yeah.
Than if you
Bro, he's really trying to shame him into like apologizing for something that he didn't even get the chance to defend his idea. You know what I'm saying? Every time he's trying to talk about the idea, Piers is literally going in and basically cutting him off. And like, this is honestly, he's being very respectful, because if I was in his shoes, honestly, I'd be like, slow. I know this is your show and all, but like, you have me as a guest, and you're literally here because of the ratings that I bring. You know what I'm saying? I'm here because of the ratings that I bring. You know, you're not gonna just like blackball me and try to make me say something that you want me to say. Even this, like, he's like, oh, like apologize and stuff like that. Come on, man. That's not the interview. Like, you literally just started the interview. Come on, like, You want me to apologize? Come on, man. You got to let him at least explain his views. What I'm hearing is a lot more Pierce and a lot more Andrew Tate, honestly. And if that's the case, then he should have just did a reaction video like I'm doing. Facts. Let's continue.
If you try and say, well, it's said in other parts of the world, so I'm not sorry.
I think
That doesn't tell me what you think.
then you need to understand why my content existed in the first place. My content existed because I tried my very hardest to be an absolute and utter realist, especially with uncomfortable truths.
Mm-hmm.
I was pointing out that very uncomfortable.
Is that a truth?
It's an uncomfortable truth in many parts of the world. It's not a truth that I'm happy about.
An inquest this week found that a 14-year-old girl, Molly Russell, died from an act of self-harm while suffering from depression and the negative effects of online content. The coroner said she was exposed to material that may have influenced her in a negative way, and in addition, what started as depression had become a much more serious depressive illness, and she very sadly took her life.
That's absolutely disgusting.
Right. Her father,
That's terrible.
Her father's campaign for better protections against potentially dangerous social media algorithms, right? It says that the
I know where he's
graphic
going with
content
this.
saw
The
romanticized
whole
acts of
depression is a
self-harm,
mindset thing. I think that's where he's trying to go with this.
normalized her condition, and focused on a limited and irrational view without any counterbalance of normality. First of all, what is your response to that? Nothing to do with you.
That's
That's
the first thing. Yeah, it is nothing to do with me. The fact that a 14-year-old girl took her life is truly sad. The world we live in today is the world we live in. The fact that
First of all, why are you even asking me that? Like you just acknowledged that this had nothing to do with him. So why are you trying to bring this narrative into the conversation? And because he said that one thing about depression is a mindset, now he's trying to take the most heartfelt conversational topic. First of all, it's a young girl, right? So if you say anything wrong, that's automatically he's trying to get him out of here. He's doing these little card games and these little chess games to try to get him to slip up, right? Now, if you say anything wrong about that little girl, you know what I'm saying? People are not gonna want to hear from you again. Even your fan base sometimes, you know what I'm saying? They'll cut it off to a certain extent. They'll be like, oh no, little girl, nah, I can't do that, Andrew. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? He's really trying to get him out of here. And that's fucked up because that has nothing to do with him, first of all, like he said. And second of all, he hasn't been able to explain not one philosophy that he's had on his social media content that got him to blow up to even come on what's this guy's name? Piers Morgan. You know what I'm saying? So for him to say, okay, how do you feel about this topic? That's kind of fucked up, man. You're waiting for him to slip up, and then you're gonna be like, oh, see, I knew, and then you're gonna cancel, and then you're gonna turn off the show, turn off the lights, turn off the camera. All right, you canceled. 15 minutes is up. Come on.
something like that happened is almost mind-blowing to me. That's truly sad. I actually feel sad inside to see something like that.
What has come clear to me in the interview is that a lot of things you say you wouldn't say now that you've said before.
But I'd say it differently, perhaps.
Yeah, right. So to me, that's an acceptance, not just that you want to get back on platforms, because maybe that was one of the reasons you were no platform, but that you've recognized and understood the potential harm to the wrong kind of impressionable mind by some of the things you've said. Would that be fair?
I think that's 80% fair. I recognize and understand that with massive fame, you have to be more careful about being misconstrued. Like I said earlier,
Exactly.
1% of people misunderstanding you doesn't matter with a small audience. It matters with a very large audience. With power comes responsibility. I still believe the things I say. I do not want to be a negative force for the world. I also understand that I am a man who's lived a very difficult, nuanced life, and I am capable of making nuanced points that may be misunderstood by teenagers.
I like that. I like that he didn't back down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that he says that he would have said it differently. Yes, of course you would say differently, because he said the way he said it before was just for initial shock value. Honestly, how can I get people to click on this video? How can I get people to retain and watch this whole video and consume as much content of me as possible? So of course, yeah, he was viewed like more than 11.6 billion times on TikTok alone. That's just one platform alone. YouTube, he was running up views crazy. So yeah, he was doing it for the algorithm and stuff like that. But honestly, that's a lot of content creators. And honestly, he didn't say anything too crazy. Honestly, sometimes he would go overboard with certain things, but he always let it be known that it was a joking manner. He would like laugh or something. He would like giggle. He would like, ha ha ha. You know what I'm saying? But if it was time to be serious and this and that, he would be serious. And also, it's people gotta read through the lines too. You gotta see when somebody's being sarcastic and when they're actually real. Like if somebody's talking about, oh, I'm gonna beat up women and stuff like that, like that's crazy. You know, that's not something to joke about or anything, right? If somebody's just talking about you know something like that, something related to that topic, if they're joking around, yeah, it's a fucked up thing. But if they're trying to make light of it or a joke of it, and it's not, it may not be the best time to do it. I feel like with him, he's done a lot trying to keep the context. Like he's trying to show people, okay, this is not, I'm not trying to be a malicious person. I'm just trying to enlighten people. And the way that I enlighten people is different from what Kevin Samuels or maybe other red pill content creators, you know, like AMS and Stephens Cole do, you know, they might tell you certain things, but he does it in a way where it's very, he's not the first person to do this. Best believe this. There's many content creators out there. He's just the first person to break through like this in the manosphere. And honestly, it's a rude awakening to a lot of people because it challenges a lot of beliefs that they have about society, about women, about just life in general. And when you challenge people's way of thinking, of course they're gonna rebel. There's gonna be a large amount of people that are enlightened, like whoa, like I never believed this, I never knew this, and it is going to be a large amount of people that's going to rebel. So everybody picking a side, man. But as far as this interview goes, I just don't like the fact that he's not able to fully explain his philosophies. This is what the people want to hear. They want to hear why, you know, they want to hear more Andrew Tate and let them make their bias about it. Stop trying to force a narrative. And I feel like this is being forced. This narrative is being forced to where is making it seem like he's the bad guy. No, come on, man. Like let the guy speak. But there's a couple seconds left. Let's get into it.
However, that can be said about anybody and everything. Every opinion online can be misunderstood by children. Trying to protect children from the internet is a very interesting subject in and of itself, because I would argue that 80% of the content on the internet can be negative or detrimental to a young mind that doesn't understand.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I'm glad he left it at that. But yeah, that's it for the reaction. Honestly, that was Andrew Tate. As far as my feelings on Andrew Tate, man, I feel like they should give him another chance. They should definitely give him another chance. Is it likely? Possibly not, because his, even though he says he might dumb it down or try to put it in a different spin, his message is so powerful that it challenges a lot of people's beliefs. And this is why he was growing so fast and rapidly on Instagram and stuff like that, and all the platforms, because people want to hear the truth. As much as they don't like it, as much as it's such shock value, and it's not, they want to hear the truth. They want to be enlightened because a lot of times they know that they've been lied to the whole time. You know, the society will tell you, like, you know, always be there, buy flowers, and be the perfect gentleman, pull out chairs and stuff like that. But in reality, you know what I'm saying, the bad boy gets most of the play. You know, that's just one little example, and I'm not gonna go into depth for that, but that's just one societal thing that they don't really teach you, you know, and it's a whole bunch of stuff like that. So people like Andrew Tate, when they come through and finally enlighten people, that's when the government gets scared. That's when people get scared, because if you can enlighten people and get them to think for themselves, then you could have a whole age of people that rebel against normal beliefs and traditions and try to change the system. So honestly, that's it for the interview. I mean, that's it for the reaction. Hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and definitely let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think. It's your boy Nuisance, and I'm out. Peace.